Hello and welcome to the 50 Women Over 50 podcast. I'm your host, Sherrilynne Starkie. Welcome to you all. On this podcast, I highlight women who have broken barriers, changed the status quo, or who simply have lived remarkable lives beyond the age of 50. So far, my guests have included pioneering entrepreneurs, passionate activists, artists, educators, and more. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and empowered as together we extol the lives of 50 exceptional women over 50. Today, I'm welcoming to the show Montreal-based mindset coach Isabelle Fortin. Losing her mother when she was just 5 years old meant Isabelle learned young how to be strong and resilient, something that held her in good stead when later she faced her own life-threatening illness, ovarian cancer. Following a successful career in Canada's military, she became a massage therapist, and now, as a mindset facilitator, she helps her clients match their work to who they really are. In this interview, she shares her life's journey and her lessons to help women over 50 live their very best lives. So tell me about your 50th birthday.
Oh, my 50th birthday. It was in COVID. When I turned 45, I decided that I was going to spend my 50th birthday in Cape Town, South Africa, because I have been dreaming of going to South Africa for a long, long time. And I had even put a deposit on it, and I was going to go a little bit northern of Cape Town, actually close to Johannesburg, and do 10 days in an elephant sanctuary. And then in 2019, end of 2019, then as we all know, COVID hit, and I turned 50 in 2021, and we were completely shut down. So I rented a little chalet in a little cottage in the Eastern Townships right here, about an hour away from my house, and I spent it there with a friend of mine and my dog. that was it. So there was nothing really thrilling about my 50th birthday.
But are you going to make your trip to South Africa?
Actually, I am for my 55th birthday, but it's a family tradition that the big milestone, we do something big. Yeah. And so 30, 30 was obviously over 20 years ago, but I did that trip with my sister. And on 40, I went to New York City for the first time. And so I ended up taking a really big trip for my 50th birthday, but 1 year after, and I ended up riding a motorcycle from Los Angeles to Montreal.
Oh,
so yeah, but that kind of doesn't count because 50 was supposed to be South Africa. So yeah, I'm going to do that for my 55th birthday.
So you're my third biker woman.
Yeah. Oh, am I? Oh, yeah.
Yes, you are.
It's, it was fun. It was cold because it's the period of the year. We left LA. Right. And when we arrived in Canada, I mean, it was cold and windy and raining and yeah, it was, the last couple of days were really, really cold. But, if not now, when?
Right. And did you come up on the American side or up on the Canadian side?
No, I came up on the American side.
Okay.
Yeah. We drove through New Mexico and through Memphis and Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, so it was fun. We went to Roswell.
Right.
And yeah. So we went diagonal from LA to.
Sounds like an epic trip.
Yeah, it was 5,818 kilometers in 14 days.
Wow. And quick trip too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was fun. It was fun.
And so when you were coming up to your 50th birthday, how did you feel about it?
Surprisingly, I felt really okay with it. 30 was a big one for me, which is really strange because looking back at it, what is 30? But 30 was a big one for me. And 50, I was more excited. My 40s were so freaking fantastic. I got accomplished as an entrepreneur, and I feel that as I am aging, my life resembles who I truly am more and more. Right. So I thought the 40s were great. So why would my 50s be any different? I'll just be better at being who I am. So no, I was excited. Well, except for the fact that we were in COVID. Yeah, I was really excited actually. And I was looking forward to my trip.
Yeah. Sounds like a great trip. Did anything surprise you about life in your 50s?
I don't think it's a surprise, but my body is slowly starting to tell me I can't get away with stuff anymore. I can't get away with eating the bag of the potato chips, and I can't get away with not exercise, and I can't get away with crap that I got away with all this time.
Yeah. So
I'll be 52 in a month, and I gotta be a little bit more careful, and I'm completely fully menopause now. So that's a reality as well. That changes stuff. So it wasn't that much of a surprise. It's just something that I have to keep on the back of my mind all of the time.
Yeah.
That I didn't have to, not even in my 40s.
You must be really fit though, to be able to make that bike trip. Like you can make a trip like that and not be fit.
Yeah. I keep fit. I keep moving.
Yeah.
It's important, and it's more and more important as we age too. So I go I walk about, between 7 and 10 kilometers a day. And it's very important for me.
Yeah.
And
really.
Yeah. And it helps with the mental health for me anyway. It really helps with not feeling overwhelmed with stuff.
Yeah. A good brisk walk can always give you a little perspective. For sure. I totally agree with you about that. And I also agree with you about this. You need to keep moving thing, because during COVID, became a workaholic. I just had so much work on, and I spent long hours at my desk, and I lost my level of fitness, and I'm really struggling to get it back.
Yeah, it's more difficult.
It is.
Especially if you're menopause already, but because when we're menopaused, our muscle mass goes down like 50% within the first 12 months. So even if you keep the status quo, you have to look at it as an improvement, even though you just maintain your level of fitness, because it is an improvement.
Yeah.
And that was something that was difficult for me to deal with.
Right.
Saying, okay, so I'm not improving. I'm doing all this effort and I'm not improving as I would have in my 30s and even my 40s.
Yeah. And
now I have to give myself grace and say, no, actually, just maintaining this is what you're going to get. And it's only going to get worse as time passes. So that's a little bit of a B. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to keep moving for sure. What advice would you give your 30-year-old self?
I would try to convince her to listen to me, because knowing me, I wouldn't have. I wish my 30-year-old me knew that I was enough.
Yeah.
And I wished she knew that this too shall pass. Because when I was
a tough year for you, right?
All my 30s, actually from 30 to, from a long time ago to 37, it was really rough. I wish I knew that everything passes with time. And so, but like I said, I wouldn't have listened. I needed to go through all that crap.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's the sum of our experiences is what we are today, right?
Yeah. And it comes, in my case, I'm not putting everybody in the same basket, but in my case, it came from being tired, like resolving all these old wounds and healing myself and saying, well, you know what, this is it. This is what I'm going to get this time around. It came from being tired of hurting. So unfortunately, I had to hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To get through.
Yeah. Well,
So what are you doing these days?
I actually just launched last week because I'm a mindset coach, and I just launched my 21-day program, and it's called Mind Your Own Happiness.
Okay.
And that was like straight from COVID, because I've been a mindset coach since 2009, but I was doing it in my basement in my office and making enough of a living to pay the mortgage and live my life. And then COVID hit and the clients couldn't come to my house anymore. And I didn't even know Zoom existed. I didn't even, so that opened up. So for me, actually, COVID was a good thing because it opened up the entire world for me.
Yes.
As the interviews and the content that I saw on YouTube. And I'm not really of a big social media person, but I love YouTube because there's some great content on there. And all of a sudden I was like, well, why not me? I have something to bring to the world. I have something to say that's going to be valuable for some people. So I got on LinkedIn and I started doing live events on LinkedIn, and I was drawing big crowds, and I thought, all right, so I'm going to bring this show worldwide without leaving my house. So that's what I do. I develop my online presence, and it's a harder venture than I thought it was going to be because there's so many of us on social media. So it's a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but I'm meeting some great people, doing podcast interviews like I'm doing with you today, and keeping in touch with these people because we shared a really nice moment, and trying to uplift them and have them uplift me and collaborate with some of them. And so that's what is keeping all of my days really, really busy.
So who are your clients?
Most of them women in their 40s and 50s.
Right.
They're becoming empty nesters, and they've sacrificed their youth and their identity. And being a parent is all about sacrifice. You sacrifice your time and your money and your own personal development in order to be that person's parent. And then the little buggers leave your house and you go, okay, so what now? Like, what do I do now? Now that I don't have to be a soccer mom, and I don't have to be a taxi driver and a high school teacher and a counselor and a best friend. And that's pretty much when I intervene and say, well, go back to you, go back to your essence. And it's never too late to take care of yourself and find your purpose. So you can find fulfillment outside of motherhood. And I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I don't have kids, but I have enough people in my life that are mothers to know that for some people, it's the greatest thing they've done in their lives because it gives them purpose. But for others, it wasn't their experience. And it's not that they don't like their children or they don't love their children. It's just that it's not how they feel fulfilled.
Yes.
So now that they have more time, they're thrilled, but they're like a kid in a candy store going, where do I start? How to begin taking care of myself again? So that's what I do.
That sounds really powerful.
Thank you.
So if someone works with you,
yes,
and then I don't know, do they graduate or I don't know what the terminology is, but what does the end game look like for your clients?
It's the beginning of, for many of them, it's the beginning of looking inwards and finding their purpose.
Yeah.
And stopping living their lives for other people, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
So anybody who wants to work one-on-one with me has to go through the 21-day program to begin with. That's how you get a hold of me, because that is the foundation. And some of them is going to be easy breezy and they've done some of that work, but that is in the first meeting. That's what we go back to. We go back to what they drew from that 21 days and what they learned and what they discovered about themselves. And that for me is the starting point to where do they want to go from there and what I can provide from there as well. So regardless of if you want to work one-on-one with me or if you want to stay in a group setting, because I also do group workshops, it has to start with that 21 day because that's the best indicator for them and for me.
Right. How did you end up in this line of work?
I have a very, very eclectic career. I should say careers. Right out of high school, I joined the military and I served for about a decade. And then as a motto, if I have no reason to say no, then I say yes. So a friend of mine invited me to accompany her to a Swedish massage introduction weekend. And I went. And at the end of the weekend, I went, okay, so I don't know enough. So I ended up taking classes and classes and classes. And that led me to become a massage therapist. And as a massage therapist, I owned a gym and it began my entrepreneurship career or whatever. And in 2008, a client of mine, a regular client of massage, at the end of a massage, while she was taking her next appointment and paying and stuff like that, she said, Isabelle, I don't come to see you for the massages. Although you're good and they do my body good, I actually come to see you because whenever we talk about something that I'm going through in my life, I always leave with a new perspective. You always bring another way to look at the situation that I'm in, regardless of if that's with my kids or my husband or my work. You're like my life coach, she said.
Okay.
And there's nothing I hate more than that term.
Oh.
I'm not discrediting anybody that does it because the people who need it, they need these people there. But I just didn't see myself as a life coach. So, but it intrigued me enough. So I went to study. I have to switch my brain in English, NLP, because it's NPL in French, NLP.
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah. And then I went to study EFT, which is emotional freedom tapping. And then I went to study. And then I did with the coaching what I had done with the massages is just never thinking that this was going to be my livelihood. And more people would come to me and it just happened gradually. And at the beginning, it happened inside the massage because I was a deep tissue massage. So it wasn't the little music, soft music and the lavender scent candle. And it wasn't, I was elbow deep and I left bruises. So it left room, this kind of massage setting left room for discussions and people would confide in me. And so I kind of became a full-time mindset coach, like by accident, like I had became a massage therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of grew into it.
Yeah. I just follow my instincts. And if that's where it wants me, I don't argue with life anymore. That's one of the things that my 50s changed, actually. Yeah. I don't argue with life anymore. It's too tiresome. It's just, I don't argue. You want me there? Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll go there.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years then?
Oh, before 10 years, I'll do big stages. Okay. That is where I feel the most comfortable is on stage.
Okay.
And yeah, that's going to happen before 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
You like TED Talks, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I'll land a TED Talk in the next 12 months.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Well, I'll watch out for it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. What are you most hopeful about for the future?
Well, if the path that I'm on right now continues, then my life will just be more and more harmonious. And that speaks to me. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to fight anything or anybody. I just want to be on my path and mind my happiness, and hopefully that's what my future is going to look like. I'm doing everything that I can, but God willing, I'll continue to be healthy physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. So yeah, that's what I pray for the most at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, health.
It's
Because
it's the theme that I'm seeing with a lot of the women that I'm interviewing. So
yeah. Well, there's a part of it that we can control, but there's a part of it that we don't control.
yeah.
So I've had ovarian cancer. My mom passed away when I was 5. She died of lung cancer. My father had colon cancer 6, 7 years ago now. So there's a part that is genetics, but I'm doing everything I can to just stay as fit as possible.
Well, that's all you can do, really.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, switching now to the quick questions off the top of your head.
Super. I love those.
Okay. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you binging?
I am reading Your Future Self Now by Benjamin Hardy, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It is fabulous. I am mid-90s drama called The West Wing.
Oh, yeah.
I just saw it on, and I'm really, yeah. So that's what I'm binging right now.
What kind of charitable works are you doing or volunteering in the community?
Soup kitchen.
Okay. Oh, I bet you're busy.
Yeah. And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun when you take the time to actually just see the human on the other side. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's not always, I don't know if fun is the right word, but it's not always fun because there's a lot of misery out there and people are hurting. But when you take the time to really connect to the human, the fun eventually always comes.
And who are you seeing in the soup kitchen these days? Oh,
yeah, a lot of homeless people.
But are refugees or locals?
Actually, the place that I do it is in Montreal on the island. Yeah. And it's for homeless soldiers.
Okay.
So that spoke to me. Being a vet myself, that spoke to me.
We have a lot of homeless soldiers in Canada, do we?
Yes.
Oh my God. That's a disgrace.
There are more in the US though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we have some. So it's very important for me because that's where I became an adult.
Yes, yes. Is there an app you couldn't live without?
iTunes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, music is vital. I'd die if music didn't exist. And I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. I go walk the dog. There's a podcast in my ear. Yeah. There's either a podcast or absolutely nothing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Is there an over 50s life hack?
Stop giving a fuck about what people thinks of you. Stop. Yes. Stop. Just stop. Don't give other people power over your own life. Stop. That's bullshit.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
There's an actually really good book about that. And it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
I have read it. Well,
I should have written that book. I should have. That's so every sentence, and I listened to it on Audible, and every sentence I went, yep, that's exactly right. You have a fuck budget, and you have to be careful how you spend your fucks. I love that. I recommend that book to everybody.
I'm definitely going to have a link to it in the show notes.
Good going.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you'd like to share with the audience?
Give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself. You did what you could. You played with the hand that you were dealt. Give yourself grace. You can't do it all. You can't know it all. You can't stop beating yourself up for being flawed. Be flawsome. You're awesome and you're flawed, so you're flawsome. So be flawsome. Give yourself grace. That's it.
That's a perfect place to stop. This has been 50 Women Over 50, a podcast for women whose personal confidence is born of experience. Thank you to my guest, mindset coach Isabelle Fortin. I love her energy and her optimism. Her lessons about giving ourselves the grace to accept that we do our very best with the cards that life deals us really resonated with me. Sometimes this is really tough to do, but remembering that we are all doing our very best each and every day really does help make the future look bright. See the show notes to find links to Isabelle's socials, her work, and information about some of the things we talked about on today's show. And thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed this show, please share a link to it with your friends and connections and drop me a rating or a review on Apple or wherever you get your podcast from. You can also find the show on YouTube, and please follow me on social media too. Let's connect and create a whole community of wise women over 50. See you next time on 50 Women Over 50. I'm your host, Sherrilynne Starkie.